Hey everybody, welcome to our webinar today. I'm excited to share a topic that is something that is near and dear to my heart because I hear it often, and is dental marketing an expense or an investment? First, I want to tell you who I am. My name is Trent Wehrhahn. I'm head of business development at SmileShop. I have had about 20 years experience marketing dental practices, and throughout that time, I have heard all kinds of different reasons why people think marketing is an expense and not an investment. So I want to cover a few things today. Um, Here's a bit of an agenda. It's the expense mindset versus the investment mindset. What happens when you don't invest in marketing? Where smart dental marketing generates ROI? How to measure ROI in dental marketing? Things that tools that you can use, and then how to think like a smart investor with marketing. And then I'll just do a recap of the key takeaways. So let's start with the mindset. So there's two different mindsets when you're looking at doing marketing. And the first one is the expense mindset. And it really views marketing as more of a cost, something that takes money out of your business without a return. And it's really in the same mental category as your rent or your utility bills or office supplies. It's necessary, but it's not really all that exciting. And the typical person would say, hey, we're spending money and we're hoping it works. Whereas the investment mindset sees marketing as a tool to drive growth. And every dollar that's put into marketing has the potential to generate more value back. And it should. If you're investing into marketing, it should be generating more value back. And that can be in new patients or higher value treatments and just long-term brand awareness so that people always have you as top of mind. So a statement that somebody might say is we're putting money into something that can grow rather than, spending money. So why is it that so many dental practices hesitate to spend money on marketing? And I think it's basically this, that if you're thinking that if it doesn't produce results immediately, it's wasted money. Shift that thinking to marketing as a growth tool, not a monthly bill. So if you think of it this way, an expense is like a utility bill, an investment's like a new dental chair. If you don't have a chair that is going to be comfortable or doesn't work properly, you're going to lose patients because they're going to go home thinking, wow, that was a really bad experience. So it's an investment. And so you have to think about your marketing that way. So what happens when you don't invest in marketing? Because that is an option. Don't do anything. Well, you really can experience decreased new patient flow because you're going to have people that are going to leave. And if you don't do anything, you will likely not continue to have the same new patient flow you have today. There's also a lot of missed opportunities to promote high value treatments. There are a lot of people out there today that are looking for cosmetic treatments or dental implants or Invisalign, and they're gonna go to your competitors because they're the ones talking about it and not you, unless by chance they happen to know one of your existing patients and get referred. They're not even going to know about you. And therefore, I think one of the biggest challenges is that your competitors that are marketing, they're out there capturing your market share. And if you aren't competing against them, they're going to take a lot of patients that could come into you. And think about marketing this way: is you're communicating the things you want people to know, whether it's people who don't know about you, or it can even be your existing patients. And if you don't spend money on marketing to your existing patients, often you won't get as much revenue out of them either. Or they might go to your competitors because they think that your competitor has a service that you don't have. You might have it, but if you're not telling them about it, then you're losing out there. And so the cost of doing nothing is often higher than doing the marketing itself. So here's where smart dental marketing generates ROI. The first is in website optimization. This is making sure that you have a high converting website that's turning visitors into booked appointments. And if you don't have a website, obviously you want to get a website first because that's really the hub of your marketing. If you think of marketing like a wheel, like an old wagon wheel, and then it has a hub in the middle and all the spokes out, your website is actually the hub. It is where everybody will end up coming, regardless of what else you're doing. So that's really the most important part. It needs to load quickly. It needs to have good calls to action. It has to have a good user experience. It has to have a lot of information about your practice and your staff, because people often make emotional decisions based on the people and not the services that you provide. So website optimization is very, very key. Things that aren't working right or are broken, say to Google that these people don't care about their website and will eventually get you not ranking for anything. Google Ads. Google Ads are a very good way to start showing up in search early in the process, because they can just be turned on and you really start showing up. If you've ever done a search, you can see up at the top, the Google Ads are showing up there. Those are the top 3 or 4 listings that come up with every search. Under that will be often the AI results, depending on what you're searching for. Below that is a Google business profile, and down below that is going to be the organic results. So if you want to show up at the top, the only way to do that is really with Google Ads. And that really attracts patients looking for services that you want to show up for, like Invisalign, implants, whatever it is. That's a good way to be able to focus on those keywords. SEO and local search. So SEO and local search is a way to bring free traffic and patients to your website long term. So it doesn't happen overnight, but it does get your website ranking in the organic portion of that search and in the Google Maps or the Google business profile section, so that you will start to get those clicks for free instead of having to pay for them through Google Ads. And this is really an ongoing process. It's not sort of a set it and forget it type of thing. It's something that needs to happen on a regular basis, because things are changing all the time. Google's changing their algorithm all the time. And so it's something you need to be on top of. Your local search, things like citation management, where your business is listed on the internet, needs to be exactly the same in every place. And the more times you can get listed, the better you're going to show up. So both of those things, very, very important. Social media. Social media is really the social proof that you are a valid business. It allows your potential patients to find out who you really are. It is a social interaction. It builds community trust, and it will actually help with your recall. So social media is pretty important. And it's one of those things that a lot of people are very intimidated by, but it's actually a lot easier than one might think, and especially if you get a little bit of help. Email marketing. Email marketing is actually something that a lot of people forget about, but it's critical, especially when communicating with your existing patients. And often what ends up happening is, you might get a service like CEREC, for example, and you don't tell your patients about it, and they see that somewhere else and they go, wow, that's a great thing. I should go to a dentist that allows me to get a crown in the office instead of having to wait 2 weeks to get it back from the lab. And they go to your competitor because they didn't know you had it. So pretty important to communicate everything with your patients. You can reactivate dormant patients or upsell patients to new services that you have, like things like Invisalign or teeth whitening. So pretty important part of it. A good benchmark for ROI is generally between a 3-to-1 and a 5-to-1 return on investment. So that means for every dollar spent, the practice generates between $3 and $5 in revenue. And I look at it this way. If you gave me $1 and I gave you $3 back, would you give me another dollar to see if I'd give you another 3 back? And if I did, you would just keep giving me $1 every time I gave you $3 back. So I think it's pretty important to understand that there is a return on investment. Now, I will also say if you're not getting that return on investment, something's wrong and that needs to be fixed. So how do you measure the ROI in dental marketing? Well, there's a lot of different things to measure, and it's important to measure all of those. So the total cost per lead, or CPL. So this is the total marketing spend divided by the number of leads. So what's a lead? A lead is somebody who picks up the phone and calls, fills out a form on your website, or requests information. Any of those things that you want to set as criteria for a lead, you can do so. And so it's really your cost per lead. Cost per acquisition This is something that's a little bit more tangible. It's basically your total marketing spend divided by the number of new patients that you get. So that's how much it costs you to get one patient. So that's your cost per acquisition. Return on ad spend, ROAS. It's the revenue generated from ads divided by the cost of the ads. So this will tell you specifically what medium you're getting the return on investment. Is it Google ads? Is it social media advertising or digital awareness ads? Lifetime value of a patient. A lot of people forget about this, because they look at, oh, well, a patient comes in and they spend a few $100s, but it really is about the lifetime value. And the lifetime value of the patient, it really depends on your practice, can be between $10,000, $15,000 and up. So if your cost per acquisition, for example, is $75, and you get a new patient in that lifetime value is going to be $15,000, that's a pretty good return on investment. So important to take a look at the lifetime value of a patient. And the conversion rate. Well, there's a couple of different things that you can take a look at for conversion rate. Number one would be the number of leads divided by the number of website visitors. So it's really looking at the conversion rate of your website. But then you can also look at the conversion rate of your front end staff. And this is the number of new patient calls versus the number of new patients. Why is that important? Well, if your marketing is making your phone ring, but you're not getting the new patients that you want, then you need to figure out where that is. So the conversion rate at the front desk should be, in my opinion, should be 80% or higher. And that's often not an issue. But if it is, it's pretty important to do things like record calls, because then you can listen to them and you can tell, often it's just little tweaks that will make a huge difference on how your conversion rate is at the front desk. What kind of tools can you use to track that? Call tracking numbers, highly, highly recommend this. Install them on your website as what we call dynamically inserted numbers, or DNI numbers, which means that if somebody came from a Google organic search, they would see a different phone number than your regular phone number. Or if they came from a Google ad search and went to the website, they'd see a different number than they would on Google organic, etc. Because what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're tracking every ad source or every source of traffic to your website. And when they pick up the phone and call, you can tell how many calls you're getting from whatever you're spending on that ad source. Using Google Analytics and Search Console. Two things provided by Google. They're completely free. Absolutely use them, because they'll give you a lot of insight into what people are doing on your website. And often you can see that people are maybe only going to the homepage and then leaving. So your bounce rate is really high. A bounce rate is if someone doesn't do anything other than maybe just go to the website and see one page. Search Console is also a really good way to monitor your SEO and stuff like that. Your CRM or practice management software, also two good places for reporting. Your CRM should measure what people are doing on the website when they fill out a form, that type of thing, and how many of those new patients are spending more money and going through with recommended treatment. All of those things are things you can track through a good PMS software. Here's an example. One of our clients, Orthodontic Smile Studio, we tracked everything, and we knew that in the first quarter, they had a 68% increase in treatment starts, a 30% increase in online market share, and after the first quarter, they were 67% of the way to their annual consultation goal already. So tracking those stats really allows us to prove the effectiveness of the marketing efforts and see what is working and what isn't. So obviously in this case, we see that we should definitely continue with what we're doing because it's working and we're able to prove that. So how to think like a smart investor. So the first thing is to diversify your marketing mix. And it's really four things: product, price, place, and promotion. So the product is, what things do you want to talk about? Your price, is there a way that you can adjust your price? In a lot of cases with dental offices, that's not the case, but what you might be able to do is added value. And those added value things are, with every new patient exam and cleaning or comprehensive exam and cleaning, you can offer a free teeth whitening, for example, or for everyone who completes the course of Invisalign, they get a free teeth whitening or whatever it is. So that would be part of the price. A place. So where are you going to talk about it? Take a look at different avenues and different places that you can get your message out there. And then can you do any promotions? Set yourself very clear and measurable goals, because if you have a clear goal, then everybody knows what you're working towards and you know whether you hit the goal. So, because if you have no goals, guess what? You're not going to know when you have success or when you don't. And so it's pretty important to be able to set those goals and make them something that you can measure. And if you're tracking your ROI with a lot of the tools I talked about, it's really easy to measure those things. Always prioritize consistency over gimmicks. Often I hear about people saying, you know what, I want to do this kind of promotion or whatever. And I would rather see you just be very consistent, because marketing is like exercise. It needs consistency to grow. And if you're not consistent, often you will spend money on a regular basis doing this thing for 1 month and, oh, that didn't work. Okay, let's try this. Oh, that didn't work. If you had just picked one thing and were consistent with it, you would get long-term return on investment. And then partner with people who understand and specialize in dental marketing. And of course, I'm going to say that because that's what we do. But I think it's really important because often people partner up with companies who don't understand the dental industry, and therefore try things that they're doing for a car repair place or the Domino's pizza down the street, and they don't work. They don't work the same anyway. Sometimes those ideas do, but it's very important to have someone who understands the dental industry. So here's a few key takeaways. Marketing should always bring in measurable value. If it's not doing that, it's not being done right, and you should fix that. And your mindset should always be, don't ask how much it will cost, ask what can it return. Because if I come to you and say, you know what, this is going to cost you $15,000, your instant thought in your brain might be, whoa, that's expensive. But if I know that you can get $60,000 back on that, then spending that $15,000 is actually a really good thing. And it's going to be a lot easier if you have the right mindset. So to help you out, one of the things we've done is created a free resource. It's a checklist that covers the 10 key metrics that every dentist should understand to get a real clear picture of how your business and your marketing efforts are performing. And these things actually go beyond the surface level to get really into the stats to help you recognize what's driving real results so you can make informed decisions. Because if you're not using data to make decisions in your marketing, you're just guessing. And guessing costs you money. So it's very, very important to use that data to make an informed decision. So to download it, just scan the QR code on the screen. It'll take you there. Just a couple of clicks, you should be able to download it. So obviously, one of the things that we do is we help dental offices. And so I want to explain who SmileShop is. Well, dentistry, we know marketing. And we handle all the complexities of your website, your SEO, your Google ads, and everything in between, so you can focus on what you do best, which is making your patients smile. And often we have people come to us and go, we've tried all of these things and they don't work. And so we're not really sure what to do. And often we can say, well, it's not the things that don't work, it's the way that you did them that doesn't work. And so, because we know that we've tried those things in other offices and they've worked well. So often it's just working with somebody who's done it before you. And our expert team is really dedicated to creating customized marketing strategies that generate leads because we've done them before, and we can customize for you. And we can elevate your online presence and ultimately grow your practice. So if you are considering hiring an agency, give us a call. Go to smileshopmarketing.com and fill out a form there. Anyone who wants to, we'll do a free website audit for you so we can take a look at your online presence and just see things that can be improved. you'll get a full report, and you can do whatever you want with that. If you want to work with us, we can help you fix it. If not, if you have a current provider that you want to give it to and say, hey, these things are broken, can you fix them for me? That's fine. You can do that too. So thank you very much. This is the end of the webinar, and I hope you got something out of it. And if we can ever help you out, please let me know. We'll talk to you all soon.